So we're going to start right off. I am going to do some Throwback Thursday tags because I am just now starting BookTube and I've been watching a lot of BookTube and I found a lot of the tags interesting. So I thought, why not Throwback Thursday tags? So I'm going to record one now and I'll upload it on Thursday, and who knows what's going to happen between now and then, but right now I'm going to record the big book tag. As I understand it, you pick out the 5 biggest books on your shelf that you have read, and you list them from the smallest to the biggest. And then you pick out the 2 biggest that you have not read and then also show those. So, I'm starting out big with 944 pages. Number 5 on my list is Kushiel's Scion. It's the 4th book in the Kushiel's Legacy series. There are 6 books in this one. There are 3 following a completely different character that really has nothing to do with Phaedra Nodalani. But this is the biggest, and it's the first book about Imriel, and it's one of my favorite series. I've reread this series probably 3 or 4 times. So, and that's all 6 books. So I really enjoy this series, but that is 944 pages, and that is my smallest have-read book. The 2 that I have not read are actually smaller than this, but they're nothing to laugh at either. So then, I do not actually have number 4. Both of them are actually loaned out, and I put them at number 4 and tied them, even though they do not have the same page count, because they are both within the Song of Ice and Fire series, with Storm of Swords at 992 pages and Dance with Dragons at 1056 pages. Both of them are loaned out. In fact, my entire series is loaned out. So I do have them on Kindle, but I'm not going to show my Kindle to you just because that just seems pointless. I have them, I've read them, they're great books. I fear for the rest of the series I will probably make a Song of Ice and Fire video at some point, especially considering that we have now ended season 5 and caught up with the books. So I will kind of explain my fears and just everything that's going on in my little head about the series and about George R.R. Martin and the TV series in a completely different video, but that's my number 4. I tied them because they're by the same author in the same series. So, number 3, the largest, is cheating just a little bit. It's actually Compendium 1 in the Walking Dead series. It is 1,088 pages, and I did not get the second compendium off my shelf because these things are heavy. They're super heavy. It's heavy paper because it's a graphic novel, and I don't want to show you anything in case you want to read it. Of course, this comes out every month or sometimes twice a month depending on what it is. I love The Walking Dead. I actually had 2 friends get me into this, and I am caught up to the latest volume. The next volume is released on September 1st, which is coming very, very soon, and I'm very, very excited. And I'm sure that my neighbor appreciates it because I buy the volumes, and I'm going to let him borrow them before I let my friend Greg borrow them, who actually currently has like 4 of the last volumes. So this one is 1,088 pages, and the second compendium is 1,068 pages. I don't know why the page difference. There actually are no page numbers, so I had to look it up on Amazon. If you like zombies at all, if you like the TV show, if you like horror, if you're thinking, I maybe want to get into zombies, this is like $35, $40 on Amazon, and you will not regret it. There's some of the best stories, some of the best artwork, and there are no animals until later. That's not a spoiler. But yeah, 1,088 pages is in my number 3 spot. Number 4 is actually The Stand by Stephen King. Now this is a version that complete, uncut, and illustrated. There's like an extra, I don't remember how many pages were not in the original, but this is the hardback, and it is 1,153 pages. I've read this book twice. Because I'm an overachiever, that's why. I've read this book twice. My grandmother's read it. My grandma and I share a lot of books. That's something you'll get to understand on this channel if you follow it. My aunt, my grandma, my grandpa, and I we read the same books, and not necessarily all of every book, but a lot of times if one of them likes a book, I'll read it. If I like a book that I think they will like, I will recommend it. So yeah, my grandma and I both read this version, and I probably got through this in about a week, which was a little slow for me, but I think homework got in the way, because I'm pretty sure I read it when I was in high school. This dust jacket wants to come off. So, this is not nearly as heavy as this one. And it's 100 pages longer. And all my books are trying to fall. Okay, so for my number one, the longest book I have read, which I have read twice, because again, I am an overachiever when it comes to long books, is Les Miserables by Victor Hugo, completely translated into English by Norman Denny. This is 1,232 pages. If you like the story at all and you like to read, this is worth it. It's so dense, you get so much more information on Fantine and, you know, on Cosette's dad. And so much more information on the Theatenes and on Marius and just everyone involved in the story. If you like the latest film release with Anne Hathaway and Hugh Jackman, and honestly, I started reading this when I was 13, and I couldn't get through it when I was 13, but I got through it when I was 17, and I think I skipped a couple chapters. There was some stuff about Monsieur Theatene, about being in the war, that I just didn't want to read, and so I read it again in my 20s, 29 now, so in the last 9 years, I have reread this after I was 17, and I read it all. You get just so much more information about just everyone, the bishop, Jean Valjean, Javert, you know, you just get so much more information, and you get so much more information about Paris and the nuns, and I love this book. I love this story. I love this book. I've read the unabridged like 4 times before I read the abridged version 4 times before I got to read the unabridged version, before I managed to get myself through it. None of my friends, as far as I know, have read the unabridged version of Les Miserables, and that makes me a little sad, but I also understand, because it's 1,232 pages, and who, in their late 20s and early 30s, has time to read this book? I do. That's just plain and simple. I make time for it. So those are my 5 longest books, even though it was really 7. Now, for the smaller of the books that I have not read is Hero of Ages by Brandon Sanderson. It's the 3rd book in the Mistborn trilogy. I have just barely started the first Mistborn book, which I don't even remember the name of right now. This one is 760 pages, and frankly, it was a little small for my taste. I really like books that are 800-900 pages, because I like them in one book. Now, this being part of a trilogy, being 760 pages, I'm not complaining. I'm not complaining at all, because this is 1,500, almost 2,000 pages of trilogy. And from everything I've heard, I'm gonna like it. My aunt actually just finished this trilogy about a week ago, because I bought it as a box set, because to our fantasy, all the good reviews on it on BookTube. So I'm very excited. I'm also very wary, because now I'm going into it with high expectations. So who knows? But she's the one who recommended the Kushiel's Legacy books to me, so even though I'm the one who picked this up because of BookTube, she liked it and she really enjoyed it, and she was trying to be cautious because she doesn't want me to go into this expecting more than I'm going to get, because she knows that I do. So 760 pages is the smallest book that out of my 2 large books that I haven't read yet. Now, the other book I have started, but I started it and realized I was missing and I probably needed to reread the second one. This is The Girl Who Kicked the Hornet's Nest by Stieg Larsson. This is the 3rd book in this series. Of course, he died before he finished the 4th book, and this one is 818 pages. It's the 3rd one, it's the longest one. I have read the other 2, and I've probably read the first 100 pages of this book, but I stopped. I realized that I really, really needed to reread the second one because it had been a couple years since I had read the first and second book, which I read back to back. Maybe I just need to read it, but for now, it is on the waiting until I reread the second book. Sorry, I'm gonna fuss with my glasses and everything. So that's the big book tag. I'm not going to tag anyone. Like I said, I'm doing Throwback Thursday tags because they just seem like a thing. It's how I'm going to have fun on YouTube. I'm just having fun. I like to read books. I like to talk about books. And so those are my books: Kushiel's Scion, Storm of Swords, Dance with Dragons, Walking Dead Compendiums 1 and 2, The Stand by Stephen King, which has all the extra material added in, is not the original Stand, Les Miserables Unabridged, The Girl Who Kicked the Hornet's Nest, and Hero of Ages in the Mistborn trilogy. Those are my big books, and the smallest one's 760 pages. The smallest read is 944. I'm very excited. I love reading books. Big books make me happy. Alright, everybody, this was your Throwback Thursday tag, and I will see you next Thursday with another Throwback Thursday tag. Alright, everyone, have a good day. Bye.